So can you hook me up?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome. Alright, I think I'm live. Yeah, I'm live? But question mark?
Do you just immediately toss these? Or?
Yeah. You cannot use them more than once.
Yeah, I know. I just wasn't sure if you empty out all the coffee from them and then do you do the fullest one?
Nah.
Middle one?
Oh, fullest one, sorry. Coffee. Coffee.
Hobble, 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 hobble.
Good morning, my howlers.
Morning, Sako Howders.
Howdy, howlers. Sako Toomey here, also known as Cass Voight, and I'm just drinking coffee and answering questions this morning. I might just comb through my books and see what's up. And I'm hanging out with my family, apparently. That's apparently a thing. We were eating bananas. This is my niece, Kalia, in case you haven't met. Alright. I'm gonna look for things
Woo!
to read. I can talk about Conjure.
Conjure. Let's talk about Conjure.
Let's talk about Conjure. I only have the weather stuff in here.
Do you have anything other than the cream?
Nope, just a splash of cream.
No.
What?
The white
don't even
looks
know.
funny.
How you got it? Like, it's all over you now.
Is it really?
That's as good as it's probably going to get. But, fingertips. Do you add anything other than your cream?
I said no.
Oh,
Just a splash. Okay. Let's think about potions.
actually.
I do. Actually, what are you interrupting us for?
We can't talk about Conjure.
Conjure. So
Well,
Conjure is like Appalachian. It's like Appalachian magic, which is like out in the mountains and stuff. But they believe in God, and to be a witch means that you signed your soul to the devil.
We're going to be in the mountains soon.
That's going to be awesome.
Because they want her for this summer.
Oh. Okay.
Mother-in-law was saying she needs to stay for at least a month. I need my little farmhand. So she can go and feed baby goats and baby sheep and go feed all the babies. Hot, yeah.
I can talk about tea.
I did give you a splash.
No, it's great. It's just really hot. I'm going forward when I should be going backward.
Do we have viewers yet? We have a little bit.
We have a little bit. It's a weird time of morning, and it's a weird niche.
It is.
Does anyone have
Look it over your
questions
shoulder.
that I can answer?
Just kidding. Hey, Sako, I was looking over your shoulder.
I know. Do you think you guys could go and watch a cartoon?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Good morning, Eva. It's wonderful to see you.
Morning, Eva.
It might help. talk about bones. So I should probably go grab my bones. I can talk about how to put together a bone kit. It's kind of like tarot, but with junk. Oh, do you want me to turn the lights on? Oh, hello, cat. I'll rewatch the entire thing after my first stream of the day. On a sprint right now. Also hitting the like button. Thank you. Probably won't be doing this forever. Enjoy your sprint. Enjoy your sprint. I don't know. Also watch your thing, maybe. I don't know. Let's see if we can find something that I can read out to you guys since there are no questions. Or I can go through my digital grimoire and see what's shaking. And we can learn together. I'm 49. Don't worry, I'm streaming 3 times today. Just wanted to pop in case I really like these morning chats. Sako, that's all. Thank you. I'll hop over and give your any full moon magics. Anything that while the new moon is for intention, the full moon is for action. So on one hand, you can, let me think, you can make moon water, you can, that's the thing that, so it's great for the 10K that's going on. Oh, son of a bitch. So the 10K is going on today? Is that what's going on? On the 5th, there's a ton of streams, like every hour there's another stream. So there has to be like another 10K event going on. Which I might partake in. It's also the day where I take my sister back. So the mirrors. Since I have makeup on, I can probably talk about the thing I'm making videos about. I have work tomorrow, so I'm doing a bunch of writing things today. That makes sense. Let's talk about thought forms. So anything at the full moon, anything that requires action, any ritual work that isn't setting intention, you would do it at the full moon for the most oomph. Going to Cat's stream. My beaky keeps threatening to spring off my keyboard. Oh, Keelan is premiering right now too. And Dick Moonstruck is also streaming. Son of a bitch. That is crazy. Why is everybody streaming all of a sudden? And that's you. And that's this. And that's a like. And I'll keep the window up so that you get some watch time, because everybody needs watch time. All right. Anyway, thought forms. Which means on the new moon you would plan your thought form, and then on the full moon you would actually make it a thing. Yeah, and maybe when my stream is over I can write with you. That would be cool. So we talked about sigil work. For instance, you would create your sigil and set your intention on the new moon, and then you would burn it or destroy it in some way on the full moon. That is typically how that would work. This is also a journal, so it takes a while to go through. All right. So we'll start at the big part and the big forms and start whittling down to the smaller forms. At least I think so. Yes. All right. So God forms are a concept in chaos magic where a practitioner allows the essence of a certain god in the form of a mental construct to overlap their energy. The practitioner then takes on the attributes of that god within ceremonial or ritual work. While they are not interacting or forcing a deity or entity to influence their own abilities and work. So how is this different from invoking? I argue that it isn't. So invocation is when you are summoning a deity. Evocation would be when you're summoning ancestors, when you're summoning spirits, animals, that sort of thing. God form is a sentient personification of a specific aspect of the brain and correlation nerve cluster. It's by lavishing it with devotion, you are pumping enormous amounts of attention or food to this God form. In doing so, this area expands and is greatly enhanced. Think of it like a muscle. The more you flex it, the beefier it becomes. For example, if you worship Thoth, your literary skills would level up. As before, the model used will be based on the 8 circuits of consciousness, but you can use whatever system rocks your socks. So, I kind of worked through some questions that I had. I was puzzled concerning matron/vatron deities and invoking. Doesn't this enforce a dogma? Oxford says a principle or set of principles laid down by an authority as incontrovertibly true. So by that definition, the SGI is a dogma that I've always disagreed with. I live by the technical aspects of Buddhism, but I dislike the dogma surrounding the Soka Gakkai. They keep trying to get me to come out to meetings and to meet the new women's leader, but the scheduling never works out. Maybe the universe is warning me. I'm beginning to understand the chaotic infatuation with demons and angels. It may be left over from a dogma that has been left behind. The mentality of servitors leads me to believe it comes from a dogma where practitioners felt no control whatsoever. Tulpas. Actually, let's go to egregores first. Egregores. It's an occult concept representing a thought form or collective group mind, an autonomous psychic entity made up of and influencing the thoughts of a group of people. The symbiotic relationship between the egregore and its group has been compared to the more recent non-occult concepts of the corporation as a legal entity and the meme. Like Long Cat, for instance, would be an egregore. By that logic, that would make Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny egregores. Also the Tooth Fairy. So I argue that Superman and other media characters are egregores, since I've seen articles call Spider-Man a god form, and My Little Pony characters can be made into tulpas. Thanks, 4chan. Perhaps the difference between these thought forms is how they would be treated. If one wants Rainbow Dash as a friend, that would be a tulpa. If it is revered for benefit, that would be a god form. And if its existence is based on plural belief, it would be an egregore. So, the way that Wiki talks about tulpas is a concept in mysticism and the paranormal of a being or object which is created through spiritual or mental powers. It was adapted by 20th century theosophists from Tibetan sprolpa, which means emanation or manifestation. End quote. Modern practitioners use the term to refer to a type of willed imaginary friend which practitioners consider to be sentient and relatively autonomous. So for those who have dissociative identity disorder and they have alters, how is a tulpa different from alters? So a tulpa is created willingly with some amount of control, while an alter is brought about by trauma and can snatch control. By metaphysical standards, my pluralism could be a combo of illness and tulpas. Can tulpas be demons? By clinical standards, I could have been a DID patient that recovered and reintegrated, so maybe I created tulpas based on my alters, which allowed them to deviate. Maybe that's a thing. Servitors, and I haven't gotten into spirit work in here, but maybe I should. A spirit-like being formed of the energy and intention of its creator that does not have a will of its own but is bound to the will of its creator. They are advanced thought forms. A servitor is generally programmed only one or two specific tasks and will have enough consciousness to do those, but usually not more. Servitors are sort of like energy robots, if you like. The Psychonaut's field manual states that it is vital that once your servitor has completed its task, that you delete it by basically starving it to death. If you fail to do so, it will grow, become resentful, and possibly turn on you. Deletion is simple. Simply ignore it. Since your attention is its food, it will starve to death. This is why you never assign a personality and such. To do otherwise may grant it sentiency and would be cruel to both the servitor and you. So when coming up with a patron/matron, we call it vatrons in my local chaos group. Not everyone needs a vatron. Some of my witches were kind of stressing out about this. Some call on the universe and open specific doors. Some need names and clarification and labels to certain aspects of their life. Some call on Spider-Man. Disney is an ultra-powerful egregore. Do I talk about hypnagogia and the like? Hypnagogia and head writing. I would probably edit this live stream so that I release them as actual videos. Who is interested in head writing? Or I can read my journal. The question is, where's my tablet? Where's my tablet? I'm gonna go in search of my tablet. Be right back. Alright. I think I have Airstream or Air server on. I need to edit some of these things anyway. Dun, 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 dun. Interesting. I have air server on, and yet my tablet doesn't want to detect it. I can show you my pages. Maybe I need to reboot it. Good morning, people who are hopping in. If you would like questions answered, please pop them in the chat. I would be happy to answer them. I was just going to do a little story time regarding some of my hedge writing experiences, providing my tablet detects my... Oh, I bet you I know why. Haha. Yes. That would do it. My Wi-Fi was turned off. I'm sorry about my cat using the cat box. That is... Oh my gosh. My eyeliner's like all jacked up. Jesus. Maybe I shouldn't get that close to the camera. All right. Transition. So, I wanted to relocate my domain to the lower realm and create an astral office of sorts. Is it overlapping? I think it is. Stop overlapping. Alright, my garden. I started in the room. Ever since I was a teenager, I've had like a mental escape that I called the room. It was not a nice place when I was young. No windows, just pictures of the outside. Mostly drawings on the floors and the walls. Foam statues so as not to hurt myself or others. Oh my god, cat. Just get out of the cat box. So it was not very nice, but a couple of years ago I upgraded it. I basically made it a much nicer room, all windows that looked out over a forest that is also my territory. Full of pillows, full of lanterns, very comfy, cozy, not like isolated. Yeah, it's isolated, but it's like Higa isolation, you know. So I might rename this the hut, kind of like Baba Yaga, because it's like up in a tree and, you know, kind of on a cliff, and it belongs to a witch, so maybe it's a hut. It seemed nicer than I remembered. The pillows and lanterns were more ornate and detailed. So I have a collection of tulpas. Once upon a time ago, I had 3. One was antagonistic. One was my mentor. And one was my childhood personified. Those were my alters, and they became tulpas much later. The antagonistic one I let die off. The mentor became a sort of friend. Like, it's hard to describe the relationship we have now. And then the little girl split up into like 20 or 30 feral animals. I call them the girls, even though some of them are male. Or at least that's how it's evolved. Well, one of them was male, but I'll get into that later. So, the girls basically live in the woods outside the room, and as every once in a while I invite them to come into the room and snuggle and hang out. I've given them like comfy places to sleep and animals to feed on and, you know, stuff like that. They hunt. So I invited everyone to come and snuggle and hang out. A handful came, even the friend, though her eyes were white reflections. She thought about joining us but decided not to. It's fine. She's kind of cautious now. So I rode my besom down to the forest floor, and just as I was getting ready to start making things, all the tulpas swarmed in to help. You know, like when you're cutting fabric on the floor and your cats have to be like on the fabric, or you are on the computer and your cat is like, oh, I have to be involved in the things that you are doing. What are you doing? What are you doing? So I made a network of portals from all the trees in my woods are redwoods, which means there are lots of cathedrals, which are when the tree roots have basically pushed the tree up in the air, and you can basically walk through the roots or drive through the roots. And it makes like a cave of sorts. So I made portals based out of these roots. I made a network of portals from redwood cathedrals that went to various realms and planes. I made the workspace first. Within the cathedral of a tree, I erected a stone altar big enough to fit a person. Probably 2 people. Probably, just saying. I grew white dahlias in bushes, and as well as belladonna. I vined 4 clocks around the cathedral roots. Amidst the bushes, I put a clawfoot tub for bath rituals. I also created a moss floor. So the bath tub was the best thing that I could have added, because I can be in a bath in person, and I can be in a bath in my office, and I kind of unite the physical and the astral. It's kind of a nice, it's easier to get shit done. I decided to walk deep into the woods, and I asked this carnivorous buck, did you know that, like, deer can be carnivorous? They eat birds. They eat meat. Did you know that? So there was a buck, which was the first male feral creature in my woods. That was male. I didn't notice the transition just yet. I asked if I could ride him, but he said no. So I pet him and said maybe one day. There was a cave with waterfall. The trip through the portal was short. I parted the greenery to reveal a beach shore. The tulpas stopped, and despite invitations, they would not come. I paused, but with nowhere else to go, I went forward. Lower and middle realms were overlapping. A boardwalk kept overlaying the shore, ebbing and flowing like waves. I hung out on the beach for a while. I'm not really a beach person, so there was a Guam-esque jungle. So the Guam has these like jungle plant. They don't have trees per se. They have like these jungle plants everywhere, and you need like a machete to like cut through them. It was nice, but not what I wanted. I remembered it was Litha, and the sun blazed. I shrank and burned, but eventually got used to it. I saw a lighthouse / watchtower and felt a pull. It drew me in, and I tried to pull away, and the tether was strong. Spirits swarmed around me. I had to sweep with the besom to break free. I found a forest that is darker than my woods. Winter bare trees, crows, bats. Very nice, but dangerous. Greg jerked me out. I had to ping for missing pieces. Spirits came with. I had to really besom them off. One was sweet and kept trying to hang around, so I promised to see it again sometime. So that was on the 20th. This was on the 21st. Let me know if you guys are bored to tears of this, or it's like ASMR story time. I don't know. Why YouTube? Why? My connection is great. It's telling me that I'm not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, so you guys will suffer buffering. Alright, June 21st, 2020, Litha weekend. I simply rode my besom to my garden. I knew I should have gone to my room first, but wanted to make the most of my time in the bath. The tulpas were interested in everything I was doing. I got into my garden's clawfoot tub and cast my Protect the Protesters sigil. So I cover myself in sigils before I hedge ride, before I hedge ride, basically. So I decided I was going to do some ritual work in my new astral garden. So I did a sigil that was Protect the Protesters. So I was asking Hecate and Zeus, and even asked Mars to release the hold on the police. He has no place there among citizens. I heard nothing back. I used energy to redraw the sigil in the air, and used more energy to break through it. I went running along with my tulpas, and when I got tired, I flew my broom alongside them. At one point, I pinged for more missing pieces, and yesterday's spirit returned. It took the form of a peregrine falcon. It was definitely had my best interests in mind. My thing got cut off, which is interesting. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, I haven't finished drawing. That's interesting to know. So none of the tulpas would leave the woods, so I stayed home and turned... Can I do this? Is this something I can do? Haha. None of the tulpas would leave the woods, so I stayed home and turned away from the gate. The carnivorous buck returned, but something seemed off about him. He turned into a bearded, tattooed man with antlers, but I knew him as the horned god, master of the hunt. He had cloven feet, which made me suspicious. I erected my armor and told him he was trespassing and not to hunt any of the denizens of my woods. Your woods, huh? He said, insinuating they were his. Yes, my woods. You're trespassing. Get out. My patience was already wearing thin. He tried to seduce me, that sex on my stone would be powerful magic. It almost worked. He had a lot of features that reminded me of my husband. He took Greg's form to try and gain my favor. He felt like Greg, but not. He stood too close to me, dominant power radiating from him. Let me try that again. He stood too close to me, dominant power radiating from him. He towered over me. He felt so good to the touch. But no. He continued to stand there, emitting pheromones. No. But no. I moved away. He took Damien's form, and Damien being the aggressive one from my childhood, and grasped for me in a flirtatious way, but I dodged him. That is not fair, nor nice. Get out. He didn't want to leave, so I pushed him out and banished him, and he hung at the edge of my woods, pacing energetically. His resonance lingered, making me think he was still there, but he wasn't. The only animal that would attack him was the falcon. The timer went off. I went back to my room, and I flopped on the pillows, I think. What have I done? What's going on? Okay. Flopped in the cushions. Mika came out, and I told her about the spirit that took Damien's form. She said nothing. My head was pounding yesterday, and is pounding today. I guess painkillers should be part of my kit. There we go. So as you can tell, I still need to decorate. But I might have pissed off a god. I did some homework and found out that his name is Cyrnos. Didn't know that. He is a particularly masculine god, which it was brought to my attention that I don't have a masculine influence in my practice. I'm considering apologizing and paying some homage to him, and maybe we can work together. I don't know. He's apparently a god of nature and sex, sexuality, and the hunt, and all, other stuff, life, death. all of those things. But I also read that he can be unforgiving and cruel. So I don't know if I like send my death warrant, as it were. Maybe there are worse things than death, yeah, right? All right. Any questions regarding hedge writing? I ordered some hedge writing salve. That's got like wormwood and bella oil and CBD oil in it, and it's the kind that you like put on your chest and on your neck. It's supposed to make it easier to get into gnosis. Because I have that dissociative disorder, getting into gnosis is really super easy for me. So I'm trying to break it down in a way that will make sense to someone who has trouble with it. It seems like some of my witches have trouble getting into gnosis. So I never thought I would be the kind of witch that would ride a broom, but here we are. I have like a little tiny baby broom that I use to cleanse. It's really nice because I can just but in the hedge and in my domain, obviously it's a broom that's big enough for me to ride. I figured losing the doggo and the heavy that came with that is hovering, not feeling too guilty over it yet. Oh, guilt over not writing. Tomorrow is the full moon. Oh, shit. It's really... Let me look at my app. I have witchy apps. Oh, it's 99.5 tonight. 99.8 tomorrow. So between tonight and tomorrow. Good to know. Good to know. Well, now that story time is over and people have been in and out, I'm gonna hang out on Kat's stream. Is it still going? It is still going. I will probably be online again tomorrow morning. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I'll go through my digital grimoire and see if there's anything that I can figure out. I will catch you guys on the flip side.